So this question, can you go over path and lab coding for presumptive drug class screening, which is the 80300 to 304 range? This one, Ruth Sheets, who's on the CCO team, prepared for us, so thank you, Ruth. And she did a great job. She's got some really good visual aids. And for those who have been following CCO for a while, you know we are visual teachers and learners, and so this falls right in line with it. So for this, let's start with some key terms. And the beginning of your path and lab manual where these codes come, they used to be a small little section, and now it's pages and pages long, and it can be very overwhelming. But once you get the terminology down and you understand how it's divided up, it really isn't as bad as it seems. So first of all, what is an assay? It's an analysis to determine the presence or the absence or quantity of one or more components. So sometimes they're just looking to see, is it present in the person's body, or they might want to know exactly how much is in the patient's body. So the next two terms, quantitative and qualitative, you'll see a lot in the pathology section. Quantitative is just how it sounds. You're adding it up. You want to know how much of a particular substance, whereas qualitative is really, you're trying to figure out, is it there, is it present? So looking to identify the existence of a particular substance. The next term that we want to define is the word presumptive. So that means you're looking to identify the possible use or non-use of a drug. That was a change in 2015. The CPT manual used to just say qualitative for that. Now they say presumptive. And that's what it means. They're presuming there might be some drug use, and they're going to go in and try and, through testing, figure out if that's true. Whereas definitive is they're looking to identify an individual drug specifically to distinguish between structural isomers, but not necessarily stereoisomers. So real techie there. If we could scroll on a little bit. Drug class. This is important to understand because the CPT codes are divided by drug class. So it's a grouping of chemically related drugs. An example here is barbiturates. You're going to have a lot of different types of barbiturates, and they can be tested using similar methods. So that would be in one drug class. CPT has determined two distinctive lists, and technically three, two that are distinctive and one that's kind of a catch-all for everything else. So drug class list A are going to be things like alcohol, barbiturates, cocaine, opiates, etc. And you can see that whole long list on page 493 of your CPT professional version. Whereas drug class B, which is a little more complicated, are your acetaminophen, nicotine, cotinine, salicylate, tramadol, etc. Again, that list is on page 493 of your CPT manual as well. So the reason for the division is that just like other things in CPT, some things are more expensive than others, or there's more work involved than others. So the note here says it typically takes less resources to identify the drug classes in Class A than it does in Class B. And then finally, there's a third class, if you will, which is basically everything else. And those are things like acid neutral drug tests, base drug tests, or ultra-sensitive base drug classes. So those are the three divisions. And if we scroll down, then we want to talk about the types, the general types of assays. So a therapeutic drug assay, just like in other parts of CPT, therapeutic is more the fixing type of thing. So the person's already on a drug or something, so they're monitoring a clinical response to a prescribed medication. And those are reported with CPT codes 80150 through 80299. Then the presumptive drug class drug assay is to identify possible use or non-use of a drug or drug class, and that's that range 80300 to 80304. And so your code choice in that range is going to depend on that first bullet there, what drugs you're looking for. Is it a Class A or Class B? Or does it fall in the other category? And then second, the methodology of the test being used. So those are the things that as a coder you want to pull out or pull out of the documentation to be able to code. So really follow the instructions in your Path and Lab section for those to code it correctly. There are some specifics, and we've got a little chart at the end that Ruth did that I'll share with you. If you can scroll down a little bit. So definitive drug testing to identify the individual drugs. This we're really getting down very specific. What is that drug in the bloodstream or the urine or whatever, and distinguish between the arrangement of the atoms in those. So those tests are very precise, and they're represented by CPT codes 80320 to 80377. And the note here is that presumptive drug class assays are often followed by a definitive. So the first thing that is it present test is going to be done, that maybe they found the person unconscious with an empty bottle of pills or whatever, and they presume that it's in it. Yep, it's there. Okay, now they're going to do a definitive and be more precise on the exact type or the quantity of it. And so therefore, if you do both per CPT, you're allowed to report both. Okay. And let me see, I think he said I have mouse control. Okay, so here is the lovely chart that Ruth did for us. Okay, so the way this works, it's like a decision tree. So start, the question is it a presumptive drug screen? I love how it says no. Well, stop, this chart won't help you. Little CCO humor there. Yes, then you're going to scroll down a little bit, and we want to figure out what the drug class is. And we just reviewed that there's two definitive types, or two, I probably shouldn't use definitive since that's one of the definitions here. There's two clear types, A or B, and then there's the catch-all, everything else. So if it's class list A, okay, so that's the first green box there. We're going to go over and ask ourselves the question, is it non-TLC, capable of direct optical observation, yes or no? If it's yes, you go to the right, you're going to code the 80300 for any number of drug classes per date of service. If the answer is no, then we need to figure out, was it TLC method? If it's yes, then we're going to go to the right and we're going to code 80303 for any number of drug classes, single or multi-drug class method per date of service. If the answer is no, then we're going to say by instructional test system, for example, I'm having trouble reading that, multi-channel chemistry analyzer using immunoassay or enzyme assay. Again, these are the methods. What's the method here? So if it's yes, if the answer is yes to that, then you're going to code it as an 80301. If the answer is no, let's see, where does that jump us down to? You have to scroll, there you go. Then it's not otherwise specified, presumptive procedure. Very good. Thanks, Boyd, you're doing good. Okay, so the second green box, if it's not class A, if it's class B, then our first question is by immunoassay or non-TLC chromatography without mass spectrometry. If the answer is yes to that question, then we're going to code it as 80302 for each single drug class procedure. If the answer is no, then we're going to be, is it the TLC method? If yes, then we're going to code it the 80303. If the answer is no, then it's not otherwise specified. And then finally, the last green box is other classes. So we're going to go, not yet, we're still on the chart. Yeah, then we're going to ask ourselves again, is it the TLC method, yes or no? If it's yes, we're going to code it in 80303. If no, we're going to code it and not otherwise specified. So isn't that a great chart? I love that. So kudos to Ruth for putting that together for us. And if you could scroll down, she didn't stop there. She gave us a little table to help us to understand for each of the classes. Presumptive testing for class list A, we want to ask ourselves if the methodology is TLC devices or procedures and capable of being read by direct optical observation, then we code it 80300. How many times? Once per date of service. Doesn't matter how many drug classes. Okay. The second row, single drug class method by instrumented test systems like a discrete multi-channel chemistry analyzer utilizing immunoassay or enzyme assay. Then those methods would warrant 80301, and you can report that once per date of service no matter how many drug classes. And then finally for Class A, TLC procedure for single or multiple drug class method is reported with 80303, once per date of service no matter how many drug classes. Okay? And then the next one for Class B, if the methodology is by immunoassay or non-TLC chromatography without mass spectrometry, you're going to code it 80302. How many times? Once for each single drug class procedure, and they have to be from drug class B. If the methodology is TLC procedure for single or multiple, then you're going to report it as 80303, and that one is once per date of service. Let's scroll down a little bit, and that's no matter how many drug classes. And finally, presumptive testing for any number of drug classes. If the methodology is TLC procedure for single or multiple, it's going to be 80303. How many times? Once per date of service, no matter how many drug classes. And then all that other methodology, all those different ways of testing stuff would be an 80304, and you report that once per procedure. Okay, so this answer sheet is available to our Replay Club members. I gave you access to the Lucid chart, but if you want the whole kit and caboodle, that's part of the benefit of joining the Replay Club. $19.95 per month. It's a real bargain, and those are just extra resources on this that you could go look up if you really needed to know more. But I think that really put it together very well. So thank you